Ага. Пане Тарасе, будь ласка, розпочинайте.
Taras, you can start and have, is everything on with you? Well, if you can hear me. Did you turn on the interpretation into Ukrainian? You should choose Ukrainian on the panel. I have English there, but I will figure it out. Cannot hear you now?
You can start.
Just a second. Hello. I would like to present to you the topic of bioindication research and influence of hydroelectric power plants on the Ukrainian Carpathian rivers. I am Taras Mykitchak, representing the Institute of Ecology of the Carpathians of the National Academy of Sciences of Ukraine Regional Landscape Park Znesinnya. Monitoring, one of the methods of which is bioindication, is an integral and necessary component of studying the current state of environmental changes in the ecosystems of water bodies in mountainous and foothill regions. Controlling the quality of surface water is primarily important for developing effective methods of its use, preserving biodiversity, and preventing excessive anthropogenic pressure on hydrocyanosis. Currently, surface water monitoring systems have changed significantly. The basis of these changes is the transition from chemical water quality control to biological water quality control based on the bioindication system, as the communities of aquatic organisms reflects the combined effect of environmental factors on surface water quality. The basic principles of bioindication were developed by Kolkowitz and Marcin back in 1986, and they introduced the concepts of separability and biological self-purification of water. They did it on the example of the River Trent, and the TBA index is Trent index. Based on the results of monitoring aquatic ecosystem, both Logic and Atlantic require implementation of scientific research findings into management decisions regarding water resources. The purpose of this report is to show the distribution of biological water quality values in mountain and foothill watercourses of the Ukrainian Carpathians, as well as to indicate the studied impact of existing hydropower plants on mountain river ecosystems. To determine the biological quality of the water, we use the Trent Biotic Index, which I have already mentioned. According to the TBI methodology, bioindication was carried out on 46 sections in June-July 2021, from the source to the confluence of the Stray into the Dniester River, as well as on 4 sections of the Dniester upstream and downstream of the stream mouth. The river Stray is the right tributary of the Dniester Black Sea Basin. The river is 232 kilometers long and has a catchment area of 3,060 square kilometers. On the map, you can see the research of Carpathian rivers and other hydropower plants. This is number 1. This is the hydropower plants on Stray River. The second is the Treble Ritska hydropower plant, and number 3 is Probinitska hydropower plant. On this map, we show the zoning of biological water quality classes in the Stray River Basin as of 2021. At that time, we studied the whole basin, and simultaneously in June-July, we developed the index. The results of the bioindication studies showed the following. The upper reaches of the Stray and Obir rivers are in the oligosubprobable zone with a biological water quality class of very clean, well, up to certain settlements. We can see that blue is class 1, very clean water. And when we speak about the Obir, it reaches Slavska, which is a very strong recreational area. And after that, the quality of water changes drastically for the worse. And in those points where there are no recreational points, like Slavska, the water is cleaner on longer stretches of the river. After Komarniki and Slavska, the water is, well, these are these blue lines, and then almost the whole Stray River is in the Beta Mesozophoric zone, which we can consider as clean water. But there are some moments like Revirska hydropower plants and Turka where they show only work on the centralized water supplies and water disposal. The water here drastically changes for dirty or very dirty. We can see that these are classes 4 and 5 of water quality. On the whole, when we speak about other places, so we also have the Beta Mesozophoric zone, and in the vicinity of bigger cities like Stray, Dachev, Gniezdechev, where they produce the toilet paper, Kochavinka, for example, it changes for dirty water, well, different class of water. What is interesting is that, well, in the before the place of confluence of Stray and Dniester, the biological quality of water, well, is very different. So the water comes clean, but then it mixes with the Dniester River water, and the quality of water, well, deteriorates a bit. But Stray River changes the ecological situation in the Dniester River. So Stray actually makes dirty waters from Dniester River a bit cleaner, and that leads to the fact that the quality of water improves significantly after their confluence. So this is what we have already talked about. That according to the bioindication analysis of water quality, the biggest problems with pollution of the Stray River are in the areas with high recreational load. Those are Slavska, the Yavir hydropower plant, also Turka, Stray, Gniezdechev, and Zhendachev settlements. In general, hydroecological studies of the impact of hydropower plants on the biota of rivers in the Ukrainian Carpathians have revealed certain negative processes. And we will now start speaking about each of these processes. But to begin with, I should note that the territory of the Ukrainian Carpathians, in the opinion of our businesses and our state, have a very good potential, bioenergy potential, and therefore there have been many large-scale projects for the construction of hydroelectric power plants on the Carpathian rivers. For example, the construction of 395 small hydropower plants. Each small river should have had a small hydropower plant which had a negative impact, and we will see how it impacted their biota and the ecosystem services for a local population. When we speak about Yavirska hydropower plant, we studied it back in 2015, 2016. These were the round-the-year studies. We took samples every month. And here we can see the reservoirs and a dam. So these are 5 kilometers before the dam. and also after dam. So I don't think that we should speak much about this, but we can see that biodiversity of the invertebrate actually decreased significantly, and their numbers also decrease. The biomass is reduced, and what is most important, the quality of the surface water, the biological quality of water changes. What concerns other negative processes? So we can speak here about the watering of riverbeds and coastal water basins. We can see the examples here on these pictures. This is Stray River before the dam and after the dam, when everything is locked there. So the situation is even worse when we speak about Terabla hydropower plant. So you can see Terabla before the water reservoir. Here you can see the release of water from the reservoir, and this is Terabla after the dam. So we can see there's no water at all. So it comes up only when some tributary join the river later on. Then there's also a big problem of siltation of the reservoir bed and cleaning of the channel below the dam. So here we can see the full reservoir of Yavir HPP and on Stray River, and this is well, the amount of silt there, and the same is on the Terabla hydropower plant. And another negative thing is the contamination of the reservoir bed with this solid waste. So you see that Terabla hydropower plant, we have the islands of waste, and in the Yavirska hydropower plant, you can see what the riverbank looks like. So this is just household and plastic waste. And another thing which we don't mention frequently enough is that when it comes to our hydropower plants, when we need to well, drain the water, theoretically it should be done gradually, but to save electricity and other resources, it's done overnight, and therefore all these organic waste and other bulk sediments, they go with the flow very rapidly. And here on these pictures, you can see this is like about 10 kilometers below the dam, and all this remains on the banks of the river, and they cover the shoreline and the bottom, the substrate, and they basically destroy all the invertebrate fauna in a day or two. And well, this actually violates the ecosystem generally. And here we show it in a more graphic manner. There is a continued decrease in diversity of aquatic invertebrate. So you can see blue and black here. We studied only 3 hydropower plants, but we can see that before the dam, there's always more invertebrate fauna than below the dam. And also, we have this similar situation with the invertebrate larva drift. This is spring and summer when there are many species, kinds. They have the drift larvae, they have to grow larger, bigger, and they go up in the water, and they go with the flow down the river flow. And we have calculated what happens before Yavirska hydropower plants at Yavirska power plant hydropower plant, and after Yavirska hydropower plants. So this is when these larvae, well, they settle down to, On the clay deposits or clay sediments, they actually die because and as a result, the number of drift larvae decreases and the biodiversity and fauna in those areas changes. And also there is a reduction in the number of aquatic invertebrates. So you can see that blue is before the dam and black is after the dam. Similarly, the amount of biomass changes. There are cases in Tarabra where the mollusks breed there, and they're not typical for those areas. And what is most important when we speak about the population, after each hydropower plant, the biological quality of water deteriorates. So you can see that after each dam of a hydropower plant, the quality of water goes down by one class, but then this water goes to water intakes for towns and cities for people, and that means people get a lower quality of water, and they could have gotten better water if there were no hydropower plants there. What concerns our conclusions, I think you have already heard the most important things during my presentation. I just would like to remind you that the development of hydropower plants is lobbied in the country by big businesses which are connected to the authorities and public officials, and they do not take into account the impact on the population. And in times of war, on the example of Kakhovka power plant, we can see that it could be used as weapons. And if something similar is done in the Carpathians, dozens of thousands of households will be flooded, and thousands of people will die. So creating hydropower plants in the Carpathian Mountains, especially in such big masses, doesn't seem feasible. Thank you for your attention.